are listening to The Common Sense Practical Prepper, sponsored by Duct Tape, the real duct tape. It fixes everything, except bad decisions. Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. America. From border to border, coast to coast, and all ships at sea, here is your host, Keith.
Hey everybody, this is Keith, and you're listening to the Common Sense Practical Prepper podcast for May the 29th, 2026. So earlier this afternoon, I was repacking my get-home bag, removing some of the winter items and replacing them with some summer items, and I had a thought. If I had 5 minutes to evacuate my house in an SHTF situation, in a sense to bug out, what would be the 7 things that I would have to take with me, and in my eyes, for the bug out to be a success? So, here's a little caveat. I understand that not all SHTF situations are the same. We could if, then, or but this thing to death, but to keep it simple, we're going to assume that you just have 5 minutes to leave your residence, your apartment, your townhome, wherever, regardless of the situation. Civil unrest, natural disaster, zombie apocalypse, asteroid from space going to hit us and destroy the planet. 5 minutes, regardless of the scenario, just to keep it simple. So with that in mind, here are the 7 things that I would grab if I only had 5 minutes to get out of the house. I'll list them 1 through 7, then I'll go back and give some more detail. Number 1, my bug out bag. Number 2, firearms. Number 3, car keys. Number 4, my waterproof thumb drive. 5, cash and silver rounds. 6, a gallon of water. And 7, medication. So let's go back and go into those in a little more detail. My bug out bag. So my bug out bag is packed, ready to go near the front door. So I'm grabbing that as number 1. It's not cheating. It does have a lot of really cool stuff in it. I'm going to be in pretty good shape. So that's my number 1. Now in my Jeep, I have my get home bag or whatever vehicle I have to be driving if it's in the Jeep. So now I have my bug out bag and my get home bag. So between those two, I'm in good shape. Firearms. I'm grabbing my Glock and an AR-15. I'm taking both of those. Grab any loaded mags that I have. If I have a few seconds, grab some extra ammo for those. Those guns and those loaded mags are a priority, and I'm not leaving home without those firearms. Number 3 was car keys. Self-explanatory. Number 4, the waterproof thumb drive, and I've spoken about this before. This is probably one of the more important things I would take in the event I was having to bug out. Now, on this drive, I have digital copies of all my critical documents. Passport, my will, medical directive, a short medical history, life insurance, vehicle registration, birth certificates, and photos of my family. And I've talked about this before. The reason I keep the family photos is this. If I'm traveling with a group, friends, family, whomever, and we get separated and I need to try to reconnect with them, if I'm unconscious or worse, whoever finds me, how are they going to determine who I am and who I might be traveling with? If you have photos, I would be able to say, assuming I'm not unconscious, I would be able to say, this is my son, this is my daughter-in-law, whomever. Have you seen them? And Lord forbid they're in a situation where they're injured or unconscious. I could say, yes, that's so-and-so. This is how they're related to me. Here's their birth certificate. Here's some ID that will show whomever that this person belongs to me or they're part of my group. Now, you might be asking, is that thumb drive password protected? So currently it is not. That might be poor operational security. However, that thumb drive is stashed away somewhere, but I can get to it pretty quick. I believe that in an SHTF situation or a bug out situation, password protecting that thumb drive would not do a lot of good in the event I was injured or worse and unable to give the password. And in a true SHTF situation, I'm not too worried about identity theft. I'm not too worried about somebody stealing my information and opening up a Capital One credit card and running it up to the limit and ruining my credit, because in an SHTF situation, there's a lot more pressing things going on. Number 5, cash and silver rounds. I've talked about this before. Carry small bills if you can. In the US, some ones, some fives, some tens, maybe a 20 or so. But there's a lot of different theories on how much cash you should have on hand. Some people don't have a lot of discretionary income. Some people don't have the ability of stashing away $100, $500, $1,500, whatever the situation may be. I always tell folks, if that's something you want to do, you come home Friday night, you come home Sunday night, long weekend, whatever, you got a few extra bucks in your pocket, stash that away. You'd be surprised in maybe a month or two that $5 or $6 may have already grown to $60 or $80, and you're well on your way to having your little stash of currency. Because in an SHTF situation, the power goes out, no ATM, no debit card, and when it comes to the silver rounds, it would be maybe a tube or two. They come in, a tube is 20 silver rounds, 21-ounce silver rounds, and that would be for purchasing things or bartering for things. And I've done several podcasts on bartering. You can go back and look those up. No need to go over that again. So number 6, a gallon of water. I could probably just as easily grab a case of water out of the garage. But again, 5 minutes, time is of the essence. I'm going to grab just one of the 1-gallon jugs. Better than nothing. Now, my go bag does have a couple of water bottles in it, but I use that gallon of water as a buffer. All right, number 7, medication. Any kind of daily prescription meds, vitamins, supplements, anything you take like that. Make sure you have those readily available. They're not stuck behind a bunch of stuff in the medicine cabinet or in a drawer. If you have to get to those, just reach into the cabinet, grab them, throw them in a plastic bag, and then you're out the door. In true emergencies and true SHTF situations, pharmacies might be closed. Severe situations, they could be overrun, they could be looted. You want to have your medication on you and not have to go looking for it in the event you have to bug out. So that is my list. And when I did this, I could have sat there for a half hour and gone through, well, maybe not that. How about and swap them out? But I wanted to be fairly realistic, so I really just came up with them probably in about 2 or 3 minutes. I didn't spend a lot of time, scratching things off the list. I wanted to, I guess, kind of stress myself in a sense, but it really wasn't that stressful to sit there and go, okay, I've got 5 minutes, and boom, boom, boom. The first 4 or 5 things came pretty quick, and then I realized what I might need to round out the trip. So everybody's situation is different. People live in different places. Now keep in mind, I live in a house, my Jeep's in the driveway, so it's my items, my keys in the Jeep, and I'm gone. People live in apartments, high-rises, townhomes, densely populated cities like Manhattan, parts of New York City. They don't have vehicles. They're up 20 stories, 30 stories, 50 stories. So it's going to take time for them to get their items together and to get downstairs. So if you live in a densely populated area like in a city, you may just have your go bag and a few other items that you need to grab. So again, this is something that I just decided to try for kicks and giggles while I was sitting there packing the get home bag. And I don't know, if you guys get a chance, drop me a line, practicalpreppodcast@gmail.com. Let me know if I'm missing anything. I very well could be missing something that was obvious. And it's not completely out of the realm of possibilities. Let's say there was a wildfire, a severe storm. You might vacate your residence in a very short period of time. All right, folks, I really appreciate it. Thanks for playing along. And as always, be careful out there. Take care of one another. And until next time.
You've been listening to The Common Sense Practical Prepper. Subscribe, like, drop a review. Over and out.